Welcome to Slasher Sunday. Moving on to Fear Street, 1978. The middle chapter. Middle chapter in the saga is always the downer.
Is it?
Usually.
Yeah.
It's usually where the
bad
protagonists, face their biggest challenge
that's
and
true.
leave off the story in a very unclear place.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Mm-hmm. The first movie is about optimism, setting up the story. Second film is about failure, right? And the third film is about the ultimate success, right? Whether it's the Star Wars trilogy or Lord of the Rings or any of this. Whatever, anyways, Fear Street 1978, which is nothing like either of those films. It's not Empire Strikes Back.
No.
It's not The Two Towers.
Nope.
It's Fear Street 1978.
It's Fear Street 1978.
Yeah. So, okay, this one, continuing on with the pattern of having a Stranger Things alum, we've got good old Sadie Sink.
Yes, we do.
And she plays Ziggy, obviously, in reference to David Bowie. And the dog's name in this is Major Tom.
Yeah.
The opening song is Nirvana's cover of The Man Who Sold the World by David Bowie. And the movie ends with the original David Bowie song, which was cool because of all of, obviously, the David Bowie references, but also the fact that in 1994 was when Kurt covered the David Bowie song for the Unplugged. And then the original David Bowie song was released in the 70s. So this is 78. The album was released in 70. So it plays to both, which is cool. Because the 94 version, obviously. And it's in, Fear Street 94. And all the David Bowie references. I thought that was neat.
That is neat.
This is definitely one of the rare movies. I don't know any else off the top of my head where Netflix has a previously on recap at the beginning of. That's always usually reserved for television.
Yeah, but think because this was released
1 week apart. You would think people would be like, this is not the time to do it. Because
I agree.
if there's Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Right? Which came out 30 years later. That's a movie where you're like, okay, maybe a recap. It's been 30 years.
Yeah.
Why you wouldn't rewatch it, especially, in the 2017 or whenever it came out. Because we have such access to film now, it's pretty simple to go pick up Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, whichever cut you prefer. But with something like this, where it's like the other movie literally came out a week ago.
Yeah.
But because it's released episodically like this, like a television series, it is kind of funny to me that people need a recap on a TV show for what happened last episode when it was a week ago. But when people go to the movies and it's been 3 years since the last one, you don't get a recap.
Yeah.
That's kind of silly to me.
It is.
If you don't remember what happened last week, but you perfectly remember what happened 3 years ago, you've got brain trouble.
The recaps are because there's people, I guess, that will miss episodes and they just don't care. They'll just catch the recap and then go into the next one, is what I assume.
That is totally fine if you're in an era where when you miss TV shows, you just miss them.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah, that's not the case now where you
it's
can just
not the case
just
anymore.
click back.
You have for you to straight up, unless your partner's I'm watching this, and you sit down on the couch and you're like, shit, I missed the last one. They're like, well, I'll just explain it to you. Something like that, whatever. But other than that, dude, there is zero excuse these days. Unless you're straight up just I don't want to watch this episode. I heard this episode sucked. I'll just watch a recap of it. Maybe. I still think you should watch it. But regardless, anyways, moving on from that. A lot of recap talk. All right. So, our characters from the last one make their way over to this girl's house, and we have to try to figure out who she is of the sisters. Is she Ziggy or is she Cindy? Now, I thought, like you did, I thought it was very obvious that Ziggy was being made us led to believe that, like, we were supposed to believe that Ziggy was her, but that it was going to be the twist that it was the Goody Two-Shoes sister.
Right, yeah.
And I thought that's what it was, and then we watched this whole thing, and at the end, it is Ziggy, and that's supposed to be the twist, and I'm like, but that's who I thought it was the whole time.
Sure. Yeah, I remember. It's funny because I think the first time we watched it, I felt the same way. I thought it was going to be her sister and not Ziggy that survived. Yeah. And then they flip it back so that it is Ziggy that lives. I don't know. I don't know why I thought it again this time. I guess I just forgot.
Ziggy Piggy, Ziggy Piggy. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. When Napoleon goes to Ziggy's and gets the banana split and like eats the whole thing, and they come out and they put the button on him and the nose.
I don't remember that scene
No?
at all.
Oh man.
I don't.
Okay, so can you explain to me why, especially with a girl who's already completely on edge, who has went through a murder spree, is doing like everything to not be found, as I said, survived killers, came back from the dead, like, why do they go to her house and like shine flashlights through the windows? I know it's supposed to make the audience think it's a killer or whatever.
Yeah. But
I'm trying to think of the scene logically, like I always do. And I genuinely can't come up with a reason why her and her brother go and just don't go and knock on her front door. Like, what do they think they're going to accomplish by sneaking around her house with a flashlight and like looking through the windows? Like, if they knocked on the door first, waited, she hid, was like, I don't want to know who's there. She shut off all the lights or whatever, and then they came around and looked fine. But for them to just straight up come around her house and look through her windows, they're going to get shot. A girl like that is more than likely packing heat.
I think that they're like sneaking when they leave. Like, so they're just sneaking in general because they don't want, like, the killers to find them or anything.
But going to her house and knocking on her door is not going to make any alert.
You're right. Like, they could have just knocked on her door.
I don't know why I legitimately cannot come up with an excuse in universe.
Yeah.
I can come up with a filmmaking excuse. They're trying to make it seem like, oh, it's going to be a killer, which you know it's not.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's not even done in a way where the audience is fooled. You're sitting there like, this is a trope. It's the suspense build to it's just them. You see it coming from a mile. Yeah. So it's like, it's not even well done. And in universe, it makes no sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is just so eye-rolly to me. It's like, come on, you're better than that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I think it's kind of silly to have them do that in the film, but...
Anybody got an excuse for why they didn't just knock? I thought about it the whole film.
Oh, wow.
Just like, not literally the entire time. I just like would randomly kind of come back to it in my head and be like, is there any reason?
Yeah.
And I couldn't come up with anything. And I usually can come up with something, even bullshit. Where I'm like really trying to fudge it for them, like really trying to play devil's advocate. I cannot come up with anything.
Yeah.
So, really annoying. Okay. Let's see. What is this? Oh, so we flash to 1978 because she's going to tell them their life story. Okay. When these scenes happen in movies and we take the length of the film, 90% of the film to tell this story, and then we cut back to them. For us, it's an hour and 30 minutes or so of the actual screen time that's running through that story. What do you think it is for them in their living room? What amount of time has expired, do you think, for her to tell them that story?
Maybe
5 minutes?
Half an hour?
30. Okay, you think it's as high as 30.
Yeah,
it's a lot of time to waste.
If they're asking questions at all, which we wouldn't get anything, but if they ever ask questions or if she's like taking her time because it's like traumatic for her to relive, I think it could be as much as 30, but probably it's like 15 to 20 minutes for her to tell everything.
I'm going with
There
5
are clocks
to 10.
on the wall, so you could
Oh,
look
yeah.
and see, because it's like
I doubt it.
11:35 or 11:45 or something at the end. So you could see what it starts with and see how long it takes. I wouldn't be surprised
cool.
if it's like longer than that. Like if it is like a 45 minutes.
I just don't see, like, there's so much of it she's not telling, right? There's so many scenes in this where, like, the pothead who fucks the you know, popular guy, that there's no way she knew any of that happened.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of the stuff with the like race war, color war. When I heard it color war, I was like, you might need to update that name.
Yeah, it's I mean, you're right. She wouldn't necessarily know all that. That's just like
there's so much of that.
Realistically, like, her story is probably shorter because she's only telling her part.
Anything with her sister, with her boyfriend and cleaning and all of what she was doing down there, because they never had time to exchange information on what she was doing down in the freaking, you know, tunnels. Yeah. There's none of that. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you really just focus on what she would definitely know, like, oh, my sister was down there, I found her. Yeah. She wouldn't know anything else. She wouldn't know that they went to that house, that any of that stuff where her sister and her boyfriend and the potheads, they go over, Alice and her boyfriend, they go over to that house and, you know, they go and gets his head cut off and, you know, if they find him having sex and all that stuff. She wouldn't have any idea of any of that stuff. Yeah. So for me, it's like, the story's 5 to 10 minutes long because it's bullet points and it's just a waste of time. And for me, and the reason I bring this up, which I'm totally making up right now that I brought this up for this reason, so I'm gonna just lie. No, is that she doesn't want them there. The longer they're there, the more chance that the curse is going to catch up with her again. Right? She sees them as like marked, as cursed. And she's like, I want you out of here. Right? So her telling the story as fast and efficient as possible, just quickly, like, okay, I'm this person. This is what happened. What I have memory of. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, get out. Yeah. But that would work. But when they respond after the story's over, they're like, wait, you're Ziggy? Yeah. That makes it seem like it was a long story. Right. Right? Because of how invested they are and how she told it. Yeah. Which I just, like, I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like, why would she tell the story to dupe them into believing she's the other person?
Well, she wouldn't. She would be telling it from her perspective, which would be Ziggy's perspective.
Correct. So why are they confused?
That line is like, there's no reason for them to be confused.
Yeah. Because what's her name when they get there? It's not Cindy, right? Did she change her name to her sister's name?
No, it's like Christine or something.
Right. So they just thought Cindy was short for Christine?
I don't know.
I don't understand that's why they would think she's not the... Because realistically, as I said, she'd be telling, as we both just said, she'd be telling the story from her point of view. Right. Right? This guy kissed me. Yeah. The sheriff was into me. Right? Yeah. But she says, like, she speaks in third person the whole time she tells the story.
She wouldn't.
She wouldn't say, like, my sister Ziggy. Or none of that. She left all of that out while telling the story. She just said Ziggy and Christy.
No, she would say...
Cindy, sorry.
She would say, like, my sister Cindy.
Exactly. So why would they possibly not understand who was who?
I don't know.
We know that it's for the reason that we're supposed to be duped. Right. And they're finding out like we do. Audience, right, exactly. Because, like, supposedly they're seeing the story like we saw, but that's not what's happening. I feel like I'm nitpicking a lot right now, but I'm really pointing out the logic, and I have to. That's just this channel. You don't like it. Bye. That stuff is like, I just watch it and I want to be like, whatever. But when we're doing videos like this, I have to bring it up. And I have to try to find a reason for how that's possible. And I can't. I cannot find it. How could you tell them that story and they not know which one she is? She just said Cindy and Ziggy the whole time?
No.
Because how would they even know who was who in that story unless she said, like, the sisters.
Yeah.
One of them's me.
Right.
You'll figure out which by the end.
Yeah, and she.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, how would they know Ziggy and her were related, and also was supposed to be her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no way to say that when you're talking about your own story without being like, okay, so I had a sister named Cindy.
Right.
And here's the story, right?
Yeah.
There's no way it works.
No, it doesn't. It's just a mechanism for storytelling. It doesn't work in the context of the story at all.
But I don't know, man. That's
It doesn't mean that it couldn't have.
How?
Like, they could have just eliminated the, like, wait, you're Ziggy.
Oh,
Like,
sure, of
That's
course.
what I'm saying. Like, it could have worked, but the only reason that's in there is, as you said, for the audience to be like, oh, wait, you're the other sister.
Right. So yeah,
But
100%. It's confirmation of the twist.
Yeah.
But it makes zero sense in universe.
Right.
Damn, 2 in a row. I got no freaking explanation for 2 things in a row right there.
Yeah.
And we're spending so much time on them, but I'm really trying to figure it out. Because to me, I'm always sitting there watching the film as the writer, or as the producers, or as whatever, the person who read the script. And me being the person I am, I would, as soon as I read the script or whatever, I would come to them and be like, can you explain this to me? I don't understand. Mm-hmm. How is this possible? Mm-hmm. And they'd be like, well, it's just, a storytelling tool for this and that. But it doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Like, make it make sense. You can do that while still, subverting expectations or tricking people or whatever. You can still do that. It's not that complicated. As I said, the knock at the door. You just knock, she turns off the lights, and then they go and look around. Like, it's simple. It's a 2-second thing, and it explains the whole thing, and you get the same result.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, it's not that complicated. So it just, I don't know, it smells of laziness when that kind of stuff happens. And moving on. So she gets attacked by these kids in the opening. And it's a very Henry Bowers, Patrick Hockstetter kind of scene where the bullies are committed to it until the Henry Bowers character takes it too far.
Yeah.
And then they're like, whoa, wait, hold on. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. Like, we just wanted to rough her up a little bit. You can't, like, light her on fire.
Yeah, I mean, she's literally, like, I think endangering her life. And so the bullies, like, especially that girl, is way, way, way out of hand.
Yeah. She to me is an homage to the girl in Sleepaway Camp, whose name is completely escaping me right now, and I can't believe it is. Oh man, I can't believe I can't think of it. Flat as a board, needs a screw.
I don't know her name.
It's on her fucking... Oh, well, whatever. But she just reminded me of her a lot. But she straight up tries to, like... Now, she would not have lit her on fire by burning her arm. But she was burning her arm, which is freaking wild, right? Yeah. To burn someone's arm with a lighter, that would be so agonizing. She would have had to go for her clothes to light her on fire. So I don't know what her intention was there. I think she just wanted to kind of burn the witch, so to speak, and just kind of like put it on her skin and burn her a bit. How far she would have taken that had, little Sheriff Good not shown up and broke that up.
Probably as far as she could have. She seems like a psychopath.
For Ziggy to come and rescue her.
Yeah.
And even have to knock her out because...
She feels guilty.
Oh my god, dude. If someone strung me up and tried to light me on fire, ruined my freaking room, tried to get me kicked out of camp, all that stuff, I'm not coming for them.
I mean,
I'm just not coming for them.
Yeah, I understand. I think that she's more empathetic than, like, we initially think she is, and she feels guilty because she wasn't trying to kill her. She was just trying to, like, get back at her in another, like, mean-spirited but ultimately harmless way.
She actually believes for that moment that she's trying to kill her.
I know. I mean, Ziggy.
That, like, locking her in there?
To kill her, yeah. So when she feels guilty for it,
but she's not,
goes back for it.
She's not your priority, number one, and she's not worth risking your life for. Right? Because she knows ultimately she could be putting herself in a tremendous amount of danger to go get someone who tried to kill her earlier. And I know that's like the noble and smart, like, moral thing to do or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit.
I'm
not. It's not a knock on the film at all. I mean, that's the character choice, and that's fine. I just, in my personal thing, I'm like, absolutely not.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't go help her either.
Good. I'm glad that we agree on that one. Because yeah, you don't see now. It's promoting 1666. Netflix knows what we haven't finished yet, even though we already watched this. We get Nurse Lane, who's mother of Ruby Lane from the last movie, so we get a little nod there. We get to see the Sarah Fierce wall with all the names on it again. We get to see the amalgamation freaking ooze puddle that like all the beings come out of again.
Which is really gross.
It is very, very Stranger Things season 3. And yeah, as I said, Color War might need a rebranding.
Maybe.
Just, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But in 1978, I don't think they cared. And yeah, Ziggy, I mean, okay, I get the like rift between them, right? This is like teenage girls and blah, blah, blah. So I get it. Once again, this isn't a knock or a complaint or anything. But like Ziggy getting down on her sister for trying to better her life and get away from a bad situation is like the lamest shit ever.
It's super lame. She's just really bitter about it because she wants her sister to be like wallowing with her. Yep. And instead she's just kind of trying to make her feel worse so that she feels better.
Well, she's what people refer to as an energy vampire, right? Like they're purposely dragging you down to their level. This is something that all of us will encounter, and I've encountered many times in my life where, you're getting, like when I quit drinking, no one wanted me to quit drinking when I quit drinking. Like all of my friends were like, the party's over if you stop, bro. Like they didn't care about me at all. It was all about like, them getting what they wanted, and I was like, I want to better my life. And like, what, you think you're better than us? Like, no, but I want to be better than us, right? And you should want to as well. And so people will try to drag you down like that because they don't want you to succeed because that makes them feel worse about themselves.
Yeah.
Right. They love them. Misery loves company, and people like when you follow the path that they're on because that makes them feel better about the path that they're on. Yeah. So really lame, but she's a teenage girl. She's going through hard times, so I'll let it slide. Once you're in a certain age range, you don't have an excuse anymore. But Ziggy's supposed to be what, 15?
15 or 16, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's to be expected. Taking random drugs that you don't even know what they are.
Yeah, it's a very 70s, I guess, thing to do.
That's insane. I mean, he finds out it's Tylenol or acetaminophen, but like, bro, just taking like a random dose of God knows what from a woman who just tried to murder people.
Yeah, and then he's like, I can't feel it. And she's like, take more.
Because he's like, I recognize the name. I just can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
So, but it could be she could have emptied that bottle and put poison in there. That one of her plans was to like poison kids. Well, she just tried to murder people.
Yeah, but he's recognizing something on the pill, right?
It's not a pill. It's a liquid dropper, isn't it? I thought it was a bottle with like it was like a liquid.
I don't know why I thought it was pills.
It could have been. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe you read the pill.
It has nothing on it.
Oh, okay.
The bottle is
I'm misremembering.
Which is also why,
but still, I'm still not taking random drugs.
No.
For any reason.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't take random drugs. That's a pro tip.
Yeah. It's a good pro tip.
And the axe gets okay. The kills in this, they're better. They're still kind of tame. There's like a decapitation. There's probably the best kill is the dude, the stoner kid or whatever, gets like an axe to the face like 2 different times, and then the third one they like kind of cut away for a second and then cut back to the aftermath of it, and his face is like annihilated. I'd say that's the
probably
best
the best
thing.
one. Mm-hmm. But even I like the ending kills too, like when Cindy is getting the axe to the chest a bunch. I feel like that's like really intense. I really liked how that looked. Same thing with her friend, the blonde, short-haired blonde girl, that gets axed in the chest. I was like, oh. But I mean, yeah,
it's okay.
They're just maybe a tiny bit, maybe more, but I feel like it's pretty similar to the first one, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like anything insanely more graphic.
No, because the axe reveal aftermath is
the same
as the, like, bread cutter.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are just kind of like axes to the head or axes to the chest or something. Mm-hmm. So pretty simple. Axes to the chest. Yeah, I guess they're kind of brutal, but not really, because I'm not really seeing what's happening. It's just kind of going into a shirt. So that to me is like I'm not seeing anything happening really. Mm-hmm. I just like feel it like in a visceral way, which is fine. I don't hate it, but like the kills in this really needed to be amplified. They had multiple sex scenes where they were straight up just like teasing the nudity and not going for it. So like they wanted to throw that in for like the slasher vibe, but because this is a female director, I'm just like, I pretty much almost guaranteed that the nudity on women was going to be done very tastefully, and like we do see the stoner girl's tit kind of, but barely. Like for like she kind of like goes up and you see like a nipple for like half a second or something. It's like, yeah, this is definitely a female director, because like certain male directors, they're like
so ridiculous.
Fucking shots like here, the girls are like fucking soaping their tits for like a minute straight, like Sorority House Massacre or something.
Super gratuitous.
Or like they're taking a shower and there's no freaking curtain or anything. They're just in the shower, showering, full nude. It's so funny. Anytime I watch a movie like that, I'm like, why is there no shower rod and curtain?
It's dumb.
No one would ever
really
shower
dumb.
like that.
It's really, really dumb. I think that this, like, I like that this is done tastefully. I don't mind nudity in films ever, but I think that, like, it does capture the slasher vibe by having the sex scenes in there with nothing really being shown. And I think that's totally fine.
Boo.
It is.
Boo on that
It's
opinion.
totally fine. I mean...
Boo! Show me the boobs. Let's see. Oh my god, dude. When he has sex with that girl and then is like, if you tell anyone, I'll kill you. I just genuinely couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, it's really gross.
I couldn't imagine saying that to somebody. I couldn't imagine somebody saying that to me.
It doesn't even really make sense that she would be with him, considering like her personality.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why she'd be with like the meanest kid when she's like a flower child.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
She just thinks he's like hot. And
I mean, like, yeah, that's it. But it's just like
body.
It's a weird, like, honestly, I feel like their pairing, like, that's kind of pointless to me. It just sort of shows like Shadysiders and Sunnyvale people like intermingling, but not in a good way.
Well, it's supposed to show that, like, you know, he is subconscious or self-conscious about being seen with her. Right. But like, because she's from Shady Side and she's just like whatever about it and is fine either way. And, you know, the Sunnysiders are like, or Sunnyvale, are like, they're supposed to be the good guys.
Yeah.
Right. But like under it, they're assholes.
Right.
Right. And then she's supposed to be like the dumb slut, but she's like super sweetheart, right? Who just wants to get laid and then goes to bed with an idiot. So I think it's just kind of showing the two sides of it in a way that's like really expressing the fakeness of it all. That everyone looks down on one side and the other side, you know, held up on this pedestal when they're actually pieces of shit. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying though, because that's already established. Right, that it's not giving us any new information, but it is sticking to that.
Yeah.
Right? Which is just saying, like, it was like that in 94. It was like that in 78. It continues to keep being like that no matter what era you're from. So it's just driving that point home once again. And yeah, because like I don't know a dude who's gonna have sex with a hot chick and not want his friends to know about it. But it's just straight up because she's from Shady Side. But it's just like, I don't know. I get it. I guess I get it for the story, but I'm just blown away by that. Alice breaks her ankle. We get to see a little bone protruding.
Yep.
It's okay. It's, you have that moment where you're like, ooh, that would
visceral reaction.
That would definitely suck. I've broken my ankle before, but it never had the bone sticking out. That's wild. The other one, we get a slash across the face, and that you can see the teeth through the wound.
Yep, you can.
Yeah, that was a good little gore moment. And I mean, it is kind of lame that Cindy ditches all of her friends, tries to start pretending to be a different person, and like dates a guy specifically to try to get out of her situation. It's like she's pushing away all the people who matter, and she is taking advantage of using other people to better her situation, which is super lame.
It is shitty, but there's also, I mean, like, everybody kind of has been dealing with being, like, in Shady Side in their own way. Like, Ziggy's just being very bitter about it and, like, kind of cold-hearted and mean. The other girls turn to drugs. Like, so they're all handling it poorly and in unhealthy ways.
Yeah. So, one trope in film, it's always funny because how ridiculous it is. The one swing decapitation is pure nonsense. There's no way you could cut someone's head off with one swing of an axe. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. But it's always funny when I see it in a movie, and I like it.
It's dramatic.
Yeah, I actually do like it more though, because this is the most used version, is the one swing. But when they ever do it realistically and they keep hacking at it, that's way more visceral, way more intense.
I prefer that because it's like, more visceral and it feels worse to watch.
And it's more realistic.
Sure. It
fills all the check marks, right? So, yeah. But it just, anytime I see it. And, okay, can we all agree that Cindy could have pretty easily climbed out of the toilet? Yeah. The way the rocks were formed, they were like steps up to it.
They were like made for climbing.
100%.
Yeah, and they're not like slippery.
She leaves her friend behind anyway. It's not like, because she wants to get friggin' Alice out. No?
Yeah. Well, but Alice does climb up it.
She climbs out the grate.
Oh, she climbs out the grate. Never mind. Yeah.
She goes to the same place that Cindy finds and kicks her way out. But it's like, you could have went up through there and then pulled her up. Yeah. With the bucket.
Yeah.
Honestly,
she couldn't have been really hard.
She couldn't have physically pulled her out of there, but she could have climbed out of there and went and got help.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You got that kid in here from Halloween.
Yes. He's in here. He's one of the counselors.
He looks like the kid from The Mask.
He gets decapitated. Yeah.
Rocky Dennis.
Right.
I feel so bad saying that, but dude, I'm telling you, look at that kid and look at Rocky Dennis and tell me they don't look similar. I showed you and you were like mad at me for
it being right. Yeah.
Dude, it's mean, but he really does have that. He really does have that face. Yeah, so they find the hand, but they don't find the body. We get Alice's deep blue sea speech. This is the kind of fist pumping, motivational. This one's for my gaffer.
Yeah, I like that she has the speech and then dies right away. I remember the first time we saw this, I thought it was really effective and it caught me off guard. And
You've
it's
never
really
seen
tragic.
Deep Blue Sea?
No. So I don't know. I like that they do it like this though in this film.
Yeah. It's effective when they do it. I mean, I think because of Deep Blue Sea, you can see that was coming now. But when that happened, that was pretty rad. That was pretty rad. The way the mask forms to the face after she kind of like tightens the burlap sack over his head, and then it's just like completely formed, is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's funny.
But
I mean,
it's
she's
supernatural.
stretching it like on his face, but yeah, it is supernatural.
But that has been cured in that way.
Yes.
Like
I know. Yeah, obviously it's.
you have to form it to something and then cure it and then take it off of that and then put it on your face and it would hold that. Pulling it tight like that would do nothing for forming that bag. But it's supernatural.
Right.
So we'll just go with that. But why the supernatural needs to make it look like that, it
Why
doesn't make
not?
any sense. But why not, I guess? Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing, and I'm not going to spend 5 minutes trying to figure it out. There is no reason, except for it just looks cool. That's it. That's all you got to know. Cindy takes an axe to the chest like 10 times in a row and is still speaking.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no way.
I feel like she wouldn't be speaking after even one, but I wondered if there was any like moments where those were supposed to be like a repeat, like.
Even one, she'd be dead.
Even one, yeah, she'd be dead.
He put it right through her heart.
Yeah.
It
but
is.
she hangs on for a little bit.
It is directly in the center of her chest.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got boobs. Maybe it hit those. It was in the center.
It was in the
There's
center.
no boob there.
No.
Not unless she's from Total Recall.
Right.
I'm calling bullshit. And yeah, they built them all around the tree. And she does that. She puts that down there. She finds the body. She goes out there without her brother, and then she touches it, and she gets transported back to 1666, setting up the next movie.
Yep. The next one.
Yeah, it's fun. These movies are good. They're fun. They're
like little intro slashers.
yeah.
Honestly, I do really like the supernatural slasher element. I love the scene at the end with all of them coming around in the field by the hanging tree.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool and definitely makes me want to know more about the other ones, just like I was saying in our last review.
Yeah.
So
that's it. Next week, obviously, 1666. We will see you there.